Shalom. And I want to start off by all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakak Kodash. Double honors to my teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And salutations to you, Akim, that's out there listening, pushing forth this word with truth and sincerity. And your few Akwath as well that's listening with sincerity. Alright, today, just coming back at you guys through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I'm just going to make a real quick lesson. Mainly, I'm going to focus on how these people, they hate the prophets, man. Alright? Like it says in Amos, hate him that rebuketh at the gate. Because when the prophets are around, they're bringing forth bad news. Alright? Matter of fact, let's start with this. Amos 5 and verse 10. They hate him that rebuketh at the gate. They abhor him that speaketh uprightly. Alright? They hate us, man. We're the ones that's rebuking at the gate. We're the ones mainly we're rebuking our people. Because these other nations, as it says in 2nd Ezra 6:54 and down, the Lord counts them as a drop of a vessel. He counts them as spittle. Alright, so this doctrine is not for the other nations, mainly for the nation of Israel. Alright, so rebuking in the gate what our people, will telling them what? To come back unto the Lord, for the Lord to have mercy on you, man. Because death and destruction is coming. But what? They hate us. They don't want to hear that, man. Alright, rather they want to hear smooth things. They want to hear about, oh no, the Lord's coming, hug, kisses. Alright, that this world is going to continue forever, and we're going to teach you how to get to the bag. Alright, because Jake, the only thing that Jake cares about, man, especially Jake that be in the world, man, what they care about is getting to the bag. Alright, getting to the bag and making a name for themselves in the society, getting some form of fame. That's what the only thing they care about. They want to hear about prosperity doctrine. They don't want to hear about death and destruction. They want to hear about America being taken out by nuclear missiles, man. They want to hear smooth things instead, as it says in Isaiah 30. Right? So this is Isaiah 30 and verse 10. It reads, actually, I'm going to start at verse 9. That this is the rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord. Alright? The rebellious children, man. Okay? They want to hear the law of the Lord. Alright? They don't want to hear about how you have to stop eating pork. You have to stop eating ribs. Pork ribs. Eating that bacon. They want to hear about, oh, don't sleep with your friend's wife. Alright? Don't sleep with another man's wife. Okay? Stop stealing, man. They want to hear about that, man. Rather, they want to be rebellious. Okay? They want to live that YOLO lifestyle. Alright? Verse 10, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. Alright? And seers is interchangeable with prophets. Alright? If you go in the book of Samuel, it tells you how the prophets back then were known as seers. Okay? Because the prophets are visionaries. Alright? The prophets, they actually see things before they happen. And us right now, and this time, the prophets coming back, when we read the scriptures, we could see these things coming to pass. As we read it, we could see, for example, Revelation 13 and 15 coming to pass. 2nd Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 16 coming to pass. How there's going to be sedition among men, all right? How there's going to be famine, so on and so forth. We could see these things as well. We're seers, we're visionaries, man. Okay? As it says in the book of Samuel. All right? But the point being, what? They want to hear smooth things. They don't want to hear about death and destruction. They don't want to hear about that, man. Because you know when the prophets come around, man, hey, they're bringing forth bad news. Because it tells you in Jeremiah 28 and verse 8, all right, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. That's what the prophets were about, man. When the Lord brings the prophets, all right, when the Lord awakens the prophets, man, you know that bad news is coming, all right? Because the prophets, the bearers of bad news. That's why also in the time of Samuel, when the let me see if I can find that, matter of fact. I don't want to butcher the precept, but it's basically going into how are you bring forth good news or bad news? How did the precept go? Good tidings, I think. Good tidings. Let's see. Bear with me for a minute. It's in the book of Samuel. Let's see. Where is seer? It might not find it. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. But this is the precept where it tells you how the prophets were called seers back then. Matter of fact, let's get this one. Can't find the precept I'm looking for, but I'm gonna roughly paraphrase it. The precept was basically going into, I'm pretty sure it's in the book of Samuel, how like a prophet came. I don't know if it was Samuel. It could be Samuel, but correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, when the prophet came, the people were like, yo, are you bringing good news or bad news? All right, because they know that, hey, when the prophets are around, they're bringing forth bad news, man. That's what the prophets are about. We read it in Jeremiah 28 and 8, right? How the prophets of old prophesied against wars of evils and of pestilence, man. We bring forth bad news. That's why they abhor him that rebuketh at the gate. Because we're not giving them good news. We're not giving them, that this kingdom's going to endure forever. We're not giving them that, man. All right? Rather, we're bringing forth bad news. But let's read this real quick, proving how back then the prophets were not seers, right? And it reads, 1 Samuel 9 and verse 9, before in Israel, when a man went to inquire of the Most High, thus he spake, come, let us go to the seer, for he that is now called the prophet was before time called the seer. So before, the prophets were known as seers. You see, in the time, of Samuel, King, so on and so forth, they were known as seers. That's why in Isaiah 30 and 10 it says what? Say to the seers, see not, prophesy unto us smooth things. They rather want to hear good things, man. All right, they don't want to hear the rebuking. They want to hear of how death and destruction is coming, because they're solely invested in this world, right? They're laying up their treasures on earth when the scriptures tell you not to do that. Matter of fact, let's get that. All right, this is Matthew 6 and verse 19. Lay down up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. You see, the Lord's telling you. This is in red. So this is Yahweh Shai speaking, man. He's telling you not to lay treasures on earth, man, but lay treasures in heaven, as is gonna go into the scriptures. Matter of fact, let's read it. Verse 20. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through and steal. That's what we're supposed to do, right? But these 2/3, what they rather put their treasures on earth, man. All right. And we know, those treasures, those riches, they're not going to deliver them in the times to come, man. Because it tells you, riches profit not in the day of wrath. All right? Let's get that. Proverbs 11 and verse 4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. It tells you, riches not going to profit you, man. Those treasures, they're not going to profit. That's why Yahweh said not to lay treasures upon earth, man. But rather lay treasures in heaven. Do this work. Come into this truth. Put your hand to the plow. That's what you're supposed to do. That's going to be your righteousness delivering you from death, man. Because when you do that, your works and your faith is going to save you in the times to come. The Lord is going to see that. But if you're out here investing in this world, man, all right, worrying about getting the bag, all right, because that's why Jake is mainly focused in, man, about getting the bag, all right? That's why they don't want to hear this, man. If you're not teaching about getting to the bag, man, they don't want to hear it. That's why the majority of Jake, if they're, they call themselves, they consider themselves as a son of God or as an Israelite, all right? They go to these other camps that have that washed down truth, for the saying, lack of better words, that teach mainly about, world friendly, all right? They teach world friendly. Example, IUIC, Sakari, so on and so forth, Christianity, whatever, man, all right? They rather go to those type of doctrines because what? Those doctrines are world friendly, all right? They teach things that's good, pleasing unto the ears, right? That's what it tells you in Timothy. They're not going to endure sound doctrine, right? This is Second Timothy. Is it 1? Yeah, Second Timothy 4 and verse 3. It says what? For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. You see, we're in that time. They're not enduring sound doctrine. They don't want to hear the Heavenly Father's words, man. But what? But after their own lust, you see, after their own lust, what? Them chasing that bag. That's their own lust, man. Getting to the bag. Because when they get to the bag, they can fulfill whatever lust that they have. You see? You have money, now you can buy this to fulfill that lust. Now you can get this to fulfill this lust. You can do whatever you want as long as you get to the bag, right? But after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned to fables. You see? All right, they rather go to what? Teachers having itching ears. There were other ways, teachers that's teaching world-friendly doctrines, man. They're not teachers that's teaching the 100% truth. That's telling you that the world's going to pass away. That's telling you that destruction is coming, man. All right? But they want to hear that smooth things instead, man. Okay? Hey, so with that, man, I'm going to close it off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ukakodash. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Until next time, I will say Shalom.